Welcome to the CTU panel.
Today, welcome everyone. This is extremely exciting. The day is moving along really quickly and we're staying on time, which is pretty amazing. When I first started putting stuff together and planning the stuff out, it was like, how are we going to be able to keep this on time? Everybody that has been on our podcast loves to talk. And and we knew that wasn't going to be a problem, but we are here discussing 20 years of 24. Welcome and happy anniversary to all of you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Our host is either on his way and just looking. If not, I will take over from here. And again, technical difficulties. We're going to roll with them, whatever. But we are honored to have you even be a part of this. I mean, we have everybody in the house right now. We have Morris just showed up. Carlo Rota just walked into the room. My goodness, this is amazing. So give me another 30 seconds and I'm going to see where he is. And then if not, I will run with it and take over. Sound good?
Sounds rather good.
Awesome. Okay. Talk amongst yourselves.
Hi,
please.
everyone. Oh my God.
Everybody was so quiet. I was like,
We're trying to be good for technical.
We're trying to be polite before we.
We need to be officially introduced. We can't just like jump in.
That's Mary Lynn.
Who's that?
This is Greg.
Who's that? Who's that?
President Logan.
Greg, where's your face? Where's your face?
I can't get it on here.
Get it on.
Hi, everyone.
Get it on.
Somehow my name is Andrew.
Oh my God, it's so nice to see
Andrew,
everybody.
what's up, Andrew?
Rodney?
Why am I Andrew? I mean,
Whose Zoom are you on? I
I
mean,
don't know. Let's rename.
Everybody.
Raver as
Good.
Andrew.
Amazing.
Hi, Andrew.
Things have changed.
Things have changed. Wait,
I'm very proud of you. And
Let me properly name myself. I'm renaming myself. There we go.
There she
I
is.
like being Andrew.
Should we put our Venmos
Good, it's in.
on? Just so people can Venmo us if they want to.
I was wondering who's going to be the first to ask that. And you took it. Thrill.
You know, tips. We work for.
Rodney, how are you, Rodney?
Hi, Rodney.
He's muted again.
Hi, John.
Muted again.
John!
Hi, Carlos.
Hi guys,
Louis Lombardi.
how are you?
That's
What's up, Rose?
Hey.
Hey.
This is crazy.
Sterling, what's up, man?
You. How are you?
Dude, are you still in Hawaii?
Still in Hawaii.
Oh, that's awesome.
Sterling.
Oh,
Oh, my
that's
Lucky
God.
you.
You bastard.
Lucky you.
Bananas.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, I gotta prop this up.
This
I don't know what I'm
baby.
doing here.
Carlos, can you get out of the woods for a second?
I know.
we
You
got
gotta find a phone
CTU on. Gonna
Wait.
get your pinpoint.
I'm gonna use this to prop it up. Hot Wheels to prop it up.
That's my boy. Look at that.
There we go. Let's see here. There we go. Hi. Hey.
So when in doubt, you log out and come back in. So our moderator is just outside the room. He's coming back in momentarily. So again, this is wow. Surprise. Surprise. This is
So
awesome.
good to see everybody's faces. I miss everybody.
Me
Sterling,
too.
you look exactly the same, dude. What is
He
it?
does.
What are
Yeah.
you drinking? What are you drinking?
Drinking vampire's blood.
Seriously.
Debbie.
You guys all look great. This is amazing.
Brad, switch your camera on.
There he is.
Hi, Rodney.
Hi, John.
I know.
There you are.
Good.
Here's Brad. Hey, Brad.
Brad. Crazy.
Wow.
I was talking to
This is like
Joseph
a-
yesterday for a bit. I said, you're going to have a hard time moderating this because all we're going to do is want to talk to each other.
Exactly.
That's why we
This
brought
is-
you all here.
Forget the questions. I want to see what you guys are doing. What are you guys up to? What's happening?
This is like the weirdest high school reunion ever.
Thank you.
I'm like having kind of an out of body experience right now.
Agreed.
I mean, for anybody who doesn't know me, I mean, you probably don't want to know. I'm Ryan. I'm the guy that came up with this idea. And then
Ryan.
Justin is the co-host
Hi,
of our
Ryan.
podcast. that went and got everybody. Like he corralled everybody in.
Hi,
And of
Jeff.
course,
Mary Lynn, you're
Hello,
Mary Lynn, you're
everyone.
looking very glamorous.
Thank
Oh.
you for joining. I just want to introduce myself. Ryan and I started the podcast, and I help Ryan get all the guests and organize this 24 convention. So I just want to say, on behalf of us, we appreciate you guys taking your time and doing these panels for us. So thank you.
Well, bravo, because that is not an easy feat.
Well, thank you, and we love all you guys. So and we look forward to this panel. So thank you.
Mr. Itzen?
Yes, I'm finally arrived.
Yes.
Oh, hi, Greg.
Hi, Marilyn. How are you? Well, catching up.
while we figure it out, we're going to move on. I want to start with a question for Jon. I mean, could everybody just introduce yourselves? I mean, everybody just, but it would be nice to hear maybe one at a time, or I can introduce whatever. I'd love to just everybody know who's here. Carlos Bernard is here. He was on our podcast several months ago. Again, took a chance on us. Rodney Charters is here. Sterling Rush is here. Joseph Hodges is here. Lou Lombardi is here. Kim Raver, Debbie Manwiller, Marilyn Rajskub, Carlo Rota, Jon Cassar, Brad Turner, and Greg Itzen. And what a group we've gathered together. This is amazing. Absolutely awesome. Jon, I'm going to start with you. What made you want to write a book about 24?
Interesting question. Basically, there were a bunch of photographers on set, Rodney being one of them, and the crew, basically, Joseph. Everyone were always taking pictures, and we were in our 5th year. Actually, we'd finished our 5th year, and I thought, 24 fans. I mean, look, we always connected to the internet. We were on the boards, if you remember the boards. We were on the 24 boards, always talking to fans, and we knew how much they loved the show. So it really was just all of us got together and said, what if we put all our pictures that we've been taking for years, for 5 years now, and put them all in a book and tell some behind the scenes stories? And that's how it came about. And then everyone contributed, and it was great. And the thing I loved about the book the most too, at the very back, is every single person that had anything to do with those 5 years, from Brian Grazer to Imagine to the craft service people. And I thought that was like the most important thing, because the actors are up front and even the directors get a little bit of buzz, but it's all those people behind the scenes that made this show so special. And we were truly a family. So to me, that book was always like a family album that we could all look back on and just go, look at what we did. Look how much fun this was. And so that's kind of where it came about.
Well, the word that kept running through everybody we've talked to this point is the word family. It's tell me more about the family that 24 was, throughout the run.
Well, this is a great question for everybody, because I think everyone feels the same way. And if you didn't feel the same way, we virtually just killed you anyway, so it didn't matter. So we just kept the people that we wanted in our family. Unlike what you could really do with your real family, you couldn't do that. But I think everybody, because some people were there from the beginning, and then there were people like Mary Lynn and Kim that came later. So we just absorbed everyone into the family as we went. And it was interesting, because I think one of the things about 24 that was so different than any other show, they were virtually writing them one show at a time. So basically, as the actors sort of did things that made them survive a little longer, that they were doing things where we were like, oh, this is great. Let's get this person to connect now with this person, which no other show ever did. So it was organic. It was being created as we go. But I think everyone should go around and answer this question.
Can I just add an addendum to what Jon just said? Because I think that as a family, we had an uncle that kept the family together, and that person was Jon Cassar.
And an aunt. And
he did.
Yes.
Of course. But the parties at his house, the conventions, the enthusiasm, all in his, humble Maltese way. Jon kept the family together.
Well, again, move around. I want to hear this from everybody. Louis Lombardi, come on, baby.
Hello, Jon. How we doing? I can't. It's so
John's
confusing.
directing the Zoom too. Jon, just
there's a lot of words coming up. I'm trying to read as we talk. I'm listening to everybody's comments up there. I'm getting used to the Zooms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Louis, you're one of those guys. I even see you on social. You've just been a true Blue 24 guy for so long, and we killed you. And so I just you should comment on this for sure.
About what?
Just being family of it all.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, I remember the first day walking into CTU when it was just being built in the beginning of the 4th season, and Joel took me through that. I was like, wow, this is like you're building like an entire city and a world within a world. It was amazing, the CTU set when I first saw it before it was built. I was like fascinated, and I was like,
that was the one.
Fun.
That was after we blew the first one up.
right, yeah, it was right. And they were like, we blew the first one up. I'm like, oh wow. And I went in there, and it looked like Disneyland, like a real like amazing, one of the most amazing sets I've ever been on, actually.
Well,
I think that's true. It definitely had a feeling when you walked into the CTU from outside. There's like the parking lot, the hallway, and as soon as you stepped into that CTU, you were in the world.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree.
It was very cool.
I think yeah. I think sorry.
Go ahead, Kim.
I just think the whole family thing was that this show was a very different show than any other show any of us had been on. The way it was shot also was such a kind of running and gunning. It wasn't like, oh, we're going to get your master and then we're going to get your close up and then we're going to get your close up. It was shot in a really different way, which I think is also one of the many reasons it took up. But I think that also brought us together as a family, because it's like from the minute actually we would rehearse, with these like insane tech dialogue and insane, I'd have like a certain pencil or button thing that I then had to pass over. It was like doing live theater, and you always had to be on. So I feel like because of that, we all, at least in my experience, the crew and the actors, we were so together, and it was so intense that also like our downtime was so intense, because I think we all felt like we had each other's backs all the time, and there was no like separation between crew and actors. We were all just this really big family, because it was such a such an all in time, so I think that was one of the reasons why I think I think we all really, everyone who came, we all really enjoyed each other's company. So Friday nights was a really good family. It was like the Sunday night get together, but it was our Friday
and Thursday nights.
Family events. Friday nights were just really for the family. Yeah.
Well, sorry, go ahead.
They weren't wild and crazy at all. They were very Friday nights at the library when we hung out.
Well, on my screen, I've got Debbie right in the center, which I think is great because of the idea of being able to see what people could do and how they would fit into the show and all that kind of stuff. I marvel at her ability to find the right fit for the show. I know Mary Lynn from Mr. Show back in the day. I know, I grew up watching that. And when I saw her first on 24, I was like, this is going to be fun. This is going to be really cool. So,
well, really quick to talk to Kim's point about getting on the set and having to sort of be on the fly and get used to the tempo of it. For me, yeah, there was two things. One, my background was comedy, and I remember getting a backhanded compliment from a Fox executive early on. Honestly, I don't even remember who it was. Very nice people, but it was they said, well, we didn't know if you could do comedy, and this was if you could do drama. And that was very early on, and it was like just the pressure was on, because as soon as you walked onto the set, I had only done sitcoms, I had done some movies, and when I walked onto the 24 set, it felt very much like a movie set. There were not, producers looking over you, and the way that we rehearsed was very organic, even though we got stuff very quickly. It was very much just us and the director and the crew were very gelled. So it was having to fit into that, and it was a very different feeling set. It felt more like a movie and more cohesive and focused, and that the vision was very focused. And so that was really scary, but really exciting.
I asked Kiefer the same question I want to ask you, Mary Lynn. When you started, did you see yourself being on this show for as long as you were and being such a major part of everything that happened?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I mean, if you could get killed at any time, and
Mm-hmm.
I knew that I was different from the beginning, you know, and I was on for 2 episodes, 4 episodes, and then, you know, was just lucky it kept growing.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I've had several conversations with Louis in the last couple of weeks, and every time we talk, he says, "Is Mary Lynn coming yet? Is Mary Lynn coming yet?" So I told him this week. I was very excited to tell him.
I'm afraid I'm going to get yelled at, screamed at by her. Shut up, do something. Pick up a folder. Shut up.
Yeah,
Okay.
pick up a
I'll start
folder.
crying. I'm going to start crying on the thing right now.
So
Hit me in the head with a
Stop
folder.
crying. Get it
we
together.
got Matt in the room. We got Matt in the room. He's the moderator. He and I would do. He did a morning show on a rock radio station, and we were the 224 fans on staff, and we would on Tuesday mornings we would do a spoiler-free 24 update. Really, it was just the two of us going, "Did you see what happened last night? That was pretty much the summary of every thing that we did. But Matt Dumouchelle is here, and he is going to take over. So,
great. Thanks a lot.
Bye,
Ryan. Thanks.
I'll be
thanks
back.
He'll be back. Don't worry, he's not going anywhere.
That's
But
right.
thanks so much for having me. Yeah, as I was mentioning to Ryan last night, the hardest part of our week was from about 10:30 at night on Monday till about 8 o'clock in the morning Tuesday when he came into the office, because we didn't have a chance to connect in between, and then we'd get to play a few extra songs, make sure that we had some time to chat about the show. So thanks so much, Ryan, for letting me be part of this. It's certainly an awesome experience just to look at my screen and see so many familiar faces who, you know, whether you know it or not, or expect it or not, become a family, a routine for us as well in the viewer, and seeing everybody's twists and turns. And I guess we'll kind of start from there. You've all experienced, as far as the actors and characters, some surprising twists, or maybe your character was involved in one, or you were coming to work the next day and somebody wasn't there because they had gotten killed off in the week before. But what were some of the biggest surprises when you were looking through the script that you saw and thought to yourself that this show is a little bit different than the rest?
Greg?
Yeah. No, I was just remembering when I found out I was going to be the bad guy. Several scripts before I actually did. They said, "You're going to," and it took me a while to adjust to the notion that I wasn't a good president, and and then to enjoy it. No, really.
You were the best evil president in television history.
That's great. Anybody else?
Well, if you remember too, Greg, we introduced Greg at the end of one season. I remember the guys coming to me and going, "Wow, that guy that we had as vice president, he was good. What do you think about him as the president?" I said, "Hell yeah, make him the president."
Cassar.
And there it was.
I mean,
Thank
just
you,
as
sir.
a general comment, I remember us when we would first get the scripts, we had the experience of, oh God, like what's going to happen page by page. And my first experience of feeling the blow of like a death was Chappelle. When I first started the character of Chappelle, that, you know, I acclimated to it, but I remember that was like, wait, what? No, like, why did you do that? Because that was, I had never had an experience like this on a show of how
I remember
high
the first
trauma
season. I was gonna say, I remember the first season when we were doing, we had this great actor, Michael O'Neill, who's gone on to do, you know, amazing roles all over television and film. And Michael O'Neill was playing, you know, he was our boss, right, for the pilot. And we come back to shoot the second episode, you know, after the show gets picked up, and he gets killed off in the second episode. And I was thinking right off the bat, I'm like, they're killing this guy off? I was like, if they're killing this guy off, like no jobs are safe, you know, because he was fantastic. Yeah, exactly. So I remember it was right off the bat that you'd be in the makeup trailer getting the new script. Oh, the new script's out, and you like page through it to see.
Yes.
Because, you know, I was broke at the time. I was like, you know, do I still have a job? You know.
And Louis, as well, you obviously became a fan favorite very fast, and had one of the the more emotional deaths, as you can see going through the chat there. A bunch of people mentioning Edgar and Chloe.
I'm trying
as
to
well.
read them. I get it's so
difficult
confused.
with that one as well.
My eyes are going back and forth. It looks like I'm looking at birds, but I'm trying to read the words.
Some fast fingers in there for sure. For you, Lewis, when you read the script, when you see that your character's time is up, how do you process that, and how do you get ready for shooting that?
Well, I mean, it was a great way to die. It was great. It was really memorable. They did a great way to do it. And like you said, on a show like this, you come and go. You know what I'm saying? And if you can make a mark and leave you a great memory like we did, it's amazing, right? There's no, negative toward it. I think it's amazing to go down on a television show as one of the, most memorable deaths, or being on one of the best shows in TV, in TV history, which is kind of great, I mean, it was kind of funny because I was on Sopranos for a while, and we were shooting in the streets of Jersey and whatever. And then I go to 24. We're in this beautiful set, and I never have to leave. I don't have to get out of my chair. I'm like, this is beautiful. I'm not getting shot at in Jersey. I'm not dealing with people calling me a rat from the Sopranos. They're like, you're a rat. I'm like, I'm the cop. And then I became the quiet, sad cop on 24, which was opposite as the Sopranos. And I'm like, I love this job. I loved it. I didn't have to get up from the chair except when Mary Lynn summoned me to yell at me at her desk. And then I would go back and mope at my chair for about an hour and cry. And then they would kill my mom. And then, I'm sorry, go ahead, Mary Lynn.
Our relationship was so amazing, and that's this happened all the time on 24. To me, there was so much plot and so much happening, but still so much room for this beautiful character development. I love that we were so antagonistic, but yet emotionally attached to each other. That was such a great.
Yeah, it was. It was great. I still get people going, why was she yelling at you every time I go? I don't know, email or text or Zoom or I don't fucking know. But like I said, like out of all the people I worked with, like on series, like you work like a Big Pussy on Sopranos, Mary Lynn was kind of the best like partner character that I've had like on a show in my entire career. Out of all the shows I've done, it really was. Like I worked with Malcolm McDowell for a year. I worked with Big Pussy for a while, and she was the best. I used to just love coming in, and because it was so different. It was like Big Pussy. You expect that guy to guy thing, but with her, it was as opposite it could be. You have some small little girl yelling at this big animal-looking guy, and he's crying every episode. People were like, "Oh my god!" So that was another great part of the writing where it wasn't the same old shit. It was let's make it opposite, and it worked massively with everybody on there. And I got to say, out of all the shows I worked on, it was probably some of the best directors I've ever worked with on that. Every one of them, especially Jon, who I love, and Jon's the best. I mean, him. It was just like you don't feel the stress. You work with some directors, and they're so uptight, you just don't enjoy what you're doing. Yeah. But when you're on 24, it was like, fuck, this is easy. It was almost like students film feel are the biggest production in Hollywood. And like I said, I bounced from show to show. I did a show in Hawaii for a year, and then Sopranos in Jersey, and then I hit 24. And it was great. It was sad to leave because it was a great job. Like Kim was saying, the dialogue was like you're talking about shit that you really would never talk about. All this technical shit, and everybody was processing it like 1,000 miles an hour and jumping on each other. Close the circuit, do this. And after a while, so at one scene, I was so confused. I think when I first got there, I taped my lines to the page, and I felt like I was typing on the computer, but I was actually reading my lines. Yeah, Jack, close the socket. I was like, I'm cheating as a motherfucker, but no one cares. I don't get in trouble. I probably get in trouble.
The scripting was amazing. The directing was amazing.
Everyone
was unbelievable too.
Every single piece of that show was amazing. The shooting of it, the characters, and everything. It was amazing. I'm blessed to be on that show.
We're so lucky to have Brad, Joseph, Rodney, Sterling, and in here as well, guys.
Everyone, even the crew. I didn't just mean the directors. I'm sorry. I didn't mean just the directors, but the crew. I mean, it was like seamless and effortless, and it was a beautiful, like almost like a play music where everything just goes seamlessly. They were great. Everybody was great. One of the best shows.
Yeah, when you guys get a round of applause from the cast like that, what does that mean to you guys? And what's your fondest memories of decorating CTU, the epicenter of the whole show?
I'll answer that. I mean, I've been, listening from the beginning, so it all boils down to Joel. I mean, he gave me total freedom. I mean, when I did the first episode and I saw what the location that they'd shot, it was brick and wood, and it was a bit more less high tech. And I asked if I could make it high tech, and Joel said, yeah, sure. But he said to me, this is the way I work. I'm a very hands-on producer, and I need to see everything. And we got to the 5th episode, I think it was, when we have a police station. And I asked him where Jack has to rescue somebody or, release somebody from a police station. And I asked him, what kind of police station do you want? And he said, well, NYPD Blue, that kind of thing. And I said, well, Joel, I'm trying to make I'd like to make it a very stylistic show. I'd like to make it a cool looking show. So that scene in The Matrix where Keanu Reeves gets his mouth sealed up? I'd like to make the whole police station like that. And he kind of said, well, okay, give it a go. So we built the set and I walked him through the set. And at that point, he turned to me and he just went, look, you're my production designer. We don't have to talk about sets anymore. And from that point on, it was my show. I could do there was no committee. So I just had fun. And you can see that hopefully in the sets that there was no committee discussing what we were going to do. When we did the new CTU in the 4th season, we had moved warehouses. So we were Joel just wanted me to build the old CTU. And I literally got down on my knees in his office and said, Joel, please let us design something else because we're all a bit tired of the orange and the gray. Can I do something else? And he went, yeah, sure. So, I'd found this amazing exterior that had those big concrete feet. And so I built them in the interior. It made no sense, but it was playful. And that was basically all, 24 is just have fun and do what you're good at doing. So
tell them about your Thunderbirds influence.
There's Thunderbirds all over the show. Well, the bunker. I was looking at everything from the number 3 on the door on the first bunker in the first bunker we built, because we were always building bunkers, to the president's desk. I mean, it's a complete copy of Mr. Tracy's desk on Thunderbirds. I mean, I grew up with Thunderbirds, and it was my world. And so, I was looking at photographs for the last couple of weeks because of tonight, and even in the prison, there's a hospital set where I have a big stripe down a wall, and you've got the numbers for the rooms. They're just copies of, Thunderbird 5 and Thunderbird 4.
It's interesting because I based my acting technique on the Thunderbirds.
There you go. I didn't see your strings.
Joseph, was Katie Manning the star? Was she on the Thunderbirds? What was her name? Oh my God, the girl with the blonde hair. She was like the voice of the character.
Oh, I don't know. That would be something.
I know her well.
Joseph was only looking at the sets, Louis. He didn't care who the voices
I'm
were.
sorry.
Literally the last bunker that we did, where it had the room where they had the inset, the sofas that were set into the ground, very 70s. I mean, it was just a play on where the Angels and Captain Scarlet used to hang out. It was sort of just having fun. I mean, and there were things that made no sense, like in that same bunker, the concrete beams that came down over that conference room. It's just me having fun. Oh, cool. And Joel just would let me do that. And he was just, John was the uncle, but the grandfather behind it all was Joel. If you walked into Joel's office and you had an idea, he'd say yes or no. And sometimes when he'd say no, you keep going. He'd go, look, I said no, get the fuck out of here, as you'd leave. But the same when you'd like have an idea and he would say yes, and you'd keep explaining it. He'd go, but I've said yes, just go and do it. So
I got that a lot. Brad, you must have got that too.
That's Joel in a nutshell. But Joseph always came through. He's like the best production designer I've ever worked with, and kudos to him, because the look of the show really was in his hand. Him and Rodney, they made it work, and all the actors were amazing. Every character was fantastic. I was recalling the moment, John, when we talked about, maybe we'll have to tell the actors they're dying before they read the script, because people are really part of this family now. And if you're in more than 2 episodes and you weren't in the script you read that you died, maybe we should start telling them, because John and I were the people on the front lines where somebody would read a script and they'd be in the corner of the set and they'd walk over and I'm dying in the next episode.
Well, what happens is that the writers would like come to us first.
Yeah,
Remember,
exactly.
they come to us first and say, okay, we're killing somebody next week. And we'd be like, and what happened is that people don't realize the crew gets it before the actors, because the crew has to prep. So the crew would get it, and they would know they'd be, someone would be dying, and they'd be walking down the hall, and Louis would be going, and they'd go, "Oh, sorry to see you go, Louis." And Louis would be like, "What? What?" So I don't know if that happened to him, but we virtually went, guys, we have to tell the second you write they're dying, someone's got to pick up the phone and tell these poor people they're not with us. They can't find out from makeup walking down the hallway. It's a
Howard pulled me over from the food truck. I was at the food truck. I was like, hi. Howard's like, can I talk to you? I'm like, sure. What up, buddy? I'm eating right now. He's like, hey, yeah, can I talk to you? That's your last meal, basically. I'm like, wow, oh my God, really? I can't eat off this truck anymore?
But wait, there's another great story too, because some people were smart enough to keep themselves alive. Carlos, tell that story.
I think a couple times I talked myself out of dying to the writers. I was, I think after, I know it was after the fourth, we just wrapped the fourth season, and I was going to the airport, driving to the airport to go pick up my mom, was coming to visit or something. And I'm in the car and I get a call and saying that all the producers are on the phone for me. And I was like, this isn't good, and never good to get a call from the producers at home, right? And so they get on and they're all sort of in a room and they're like, hey, how's it going? Listen, we really loved having you on the show, man. We love you so much. But we're thinking of killing you off, at the beginning of season 5. And I was like, oh, okay. And they go, like, you and Michelle are gonna go out to your car. You're married, and they're gonna blow you guys up in the car. And I'm like, I was like, okay, well, I mean, you're wasting a good opportunity, I think. But okay, I mean, if that's the way you're gonna do it. And they're like, what do you mean? I go, well, I mean, what if I live and then I have to go after her killer? Like, why would you waste that story point? And they're like, we'll call you back. That's actually what season 7 turned into, really, right?
Although the best keeping himself alive is Peter Weller. By far, he gets the award. Because Peter Weller was supposed to die in like episode 7. The script was there. And then episode 8 would come out and he'd be, then a new version, he's alive. And then he was supposed to die in episode 12. And sure enough, another script would come out and he's alive. He died in the last episode of that season. And I finally went up to him. I said, what are you doing to keep yourself alive? He goes, I go to the cigar room with a brand new box of cigars and I talk to writers into keeping me alive. And on that last day, he's lying on a submarine in San Diego. Right. And Jack finally kills him. And as we're doing the blocking, Peter goes, maybe he doesn't kill me right away. Maybe I'm like, no, stop, you're dead.
For actors like Carlo and Kim that come into the show a little bit later on, obviously the chemistry is there. The show has developed itself into the incredible fan favorite that it is. How different is it for you guys to step into a vital role on this show and join the parade on through?
Kim, do you want to go first?
No, you go ahead.
Well, I'll tell you that I arrived and I had to step into a slot that had been recently given up by the late, great Louis Lombardi. And as soon as I arrived, I was told by more than one person that, Louis, he was like a fan favorite and a great actor. So you have some pretty big shoes to fill. No pressure whatsoever. But I guess I lived with the show thinking I was going to be eliminated at any moment. I normally am on any other TV show that I do. I have died more times and been resurrected more times than I can imagine. But I just thought, well, it's a fantastic opportunity. One of the first things I did was go out for dinner with a bunch of people. Joel took me and Mary Lynn out for dinner. He's like, hey, here's Mary Lynn. She could be your on-screen ex-wife, and that it ran from there. And it was a lovely, lovely time. I have to say, I thoroughly enjoyed it. As I've mentioned earlier in another panel, it's never been as good as some of those days on 24. Really hasn't.
I think for me, it was the whole experience for me was such a whirlwind. I mean, I had just come off, I think I was still like on third watch. I went away to France for a vacation because my husband's French, and I got a call. You've got to come meet the producers and Kiefer Sutherland for 24. And like literally within 24 hours, I was like at CTU meeting all the producers. They're like, you're Audrey, Kiefer's coming in a couple days. Kiefer walks in, we shake hands, and they're like, by the way, they've added a new scene. It's a love scene. So we'll be doing that in 2 minutes. I was like, okay, here we go. Like it was like, but I felt so protected by everyone, by the producers, by Jon, by the rest of the cast. And it literally was like stepping onto like a bullet train. And I just was like hanging on and moving over here and hanging on. And like, it is this adrenaline run of anything that you couldn't even think of was happening to Audrey, which was like such an amazing experience. And I felt, I mean, I for sure had like a bullseye on me. I mean, anytime it's Jack Bauer and romance, it's like bullseye. Like you're like dead man walking. So, it just, I don't know. It was just like one of the most incredible experiences ever. It was such a different, again, like I was saying, just a different way of working. It felt like a film set, but yet the pace was like nothing I think anyone's ever experienced. So, I think coming into it, I don't know. I don't think I never felt comparisons to past or future. It was a very present moment. And I think someone else said what was so incredible about it is, you could have like a moment looking at someone across CTU or with Kiefer or whatever, and the producers and writers were watching the dailies and they were like, wait, what was that? So, and it's because we shot the close-up and the masters at the same time. So you could start creating these things that weren't even necessarily in the dialogue, or they were in the dialogue that you felt the writers were writing, and start something there. And I just thought it was so amazing that the writers were picking up moments that were happening and then writing to those.
Yeah.
So, I mean, again, like it was almost like doing a like live theater, but filming it, so it was just like an extraordinary experience.
And Debbie, you're bringing in all of these people and piecing them all together and trying to find the right mix. How did that work so well? And I'm sure there was some times where there was concern it wasn't as good a fit as we had hoped at the beginning.
I could say
then you were dead on the first day.
Kind of a happy
and maybe that's why.
what Jon and what everybody's been saying about, the scripts came fast and furious, and in the first season things were pretty well thought out from point A to Z. At least they had a template. But after that, it was like just episode by episode. And we would often get something and it was like, okay, well, we don't know what this person's going to end up doing. So we have to be able to hire somebody that might end up being the bad guy, or they might be a love interest or whatever. So it was a really hard thing to sort of be able to predict the future. And I have to echo what Joseph was saying, is that we had an immense amount of freedom. I would just kind of hand them a few actors a lot of the time for these big roles and say, how about these? And they would either pick somebody or not. So you all have no idea how little screen time or consideration you actually got before we cast you, because Joel did make these snap decisions. And then, Jon and I, or Brad and I, would be sitting in the room and, talking about how to flesh things out, or whether that was really going to be, the right fit moving forward. But it was really so much fun just to do it on the fly like everybody else, to kind of just get it and say we'd get to read a script and have a sixth sense and wait, that person that has one line at the very end, they're going to be something, right? I'm like, yeah, maybe. I'm like, okay, well, I guess we better, game on for the person who has one line who's going to be the villain in the next, 10 episodes. So I love seeing all of you so much. I felt very sad when they would kill actors. I begged for some of you too.
I have to say,
to be clear,
Debbie,
they didn't kill actors. They just killed the characters. Right? Okay.
I have to say, Debbie had such a gift at, bringing in people that fit into the already existing family, and the sort of chemistry. You really had a vision of finding people that had that mix, that could, because you didn't know like whether it was going to be, comedy, intense drama, all of the above, and but also the chemistry amongst people. And so I think sort of Debbie's vision in finding people is also what, to go back to that original question of family, you did this just sort of magical lightning in a bottle of finding those people that would kind of mesh together like a family.
Oh, well, thank you.
I think when I came,
actors. We hired really good actors. That was just the bottom line. We would say, John and I would talk about it all the time. You just hire good people and you let them do their thing. So.
But also they'll stay unnamed, but there were about 3 or 4 pretty big name actors that came and did one scene, and Joel would just look at me and go, "Nope, wrong."
That's true.
Hired some kind of famous people.
It was shocking, some of them that we let go. But
do you kill them? Did you kill them, or did you kill them or write them off, John? Did you kill them or write them off?
We didn't even kill them.
Your dad, first episode, the button, like the Staples button.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Blow everybody up.
The floor.
I think when I came in, it was like, oh, you're gonna. I think I met you, Joel, and Howard, and you guys are like gonna do 1 or 2 episodes. Joel was like, gonna do 1 or 2 episodes, and you'll come in, we'll see you there. I was like, okay, I'll do 1 or 2 episodes, and I ended up doing that whole season, the next one, and then half of the next. So it was like a major surprise, and it was great, It was actually like from 1 to whatever it became, it was beautiful.
Somebody I really want to get in the mix here is Sterling, and talk to him about the prop master role, and also the guy who holds the record for the I believe it's the longest time between appearances on the show. That you were on very quickly in season 1, and you were also in very quickly in season 8. So you were able to last much longer than some of the people that are on the screen. But tell us, from the backstory, how you got into this role, and what a typical day was like for you.
Well, I mean, going back to the beginning where we started this, I literally grew up on 24. I was 24-year-old cocky little kid, learning a trade. I was new in the business. And then I believe it was one of the first Thursday nights, and we all went out together as a group, and it kind of solidified on a Thursday night, TGI Fridays. We all kind of became a family right off the bat. So I had people telling me, we're at a dinner party, and Kiefer going, "Get up, boy, you don't sleeping at the table," or something. It was growing up on the show. And as far as my day working on the set, I mean, I was 24. I had so much energy. I could, I was going to work and having fun. This is all 24 years old, pre-kids, pre-other, avenues. But it was, for me, one of the craziest, most amazing experiences of my life. As far as getting on the show, I remember seeing Kiefer had gotten blood on his shirt, and they said, "We need to get you another shirt." So literally, Jim Lapidus walks in with a shirt, goes, "Put this on." So I put the shirt on. I'm in a scene. I walk in, Kiefer goes, "Give me your shirt," or "Jay, give me your shirt." So I walk over and take my shirt off and hand it to him, and that was it. Then the second time was what, 7 years later? Is that what it was? Season 7?
I believe it was, yeah, season 1 and then season 8.
Yes, yeah, that was where we were at I guess it was a laundry factory, and I was creeping around the corner as a bad guy. Kiefer needed to knock somebody out and carry him on the shoulder. I just happened to be the guy small enough to just like, you can easily do it multiple times. So he knocks me out, and then I over the shoulder, and next you see me up hanging in a basket, knocked out.
But also, Sterling's not saying like how. I mean, it's also because he was so good at what he does. I mean, to have his job, we all talk about how great and fun. The amount of work and the intensity of having like those props to go right away, like that was the other thing. It's like the level of professionalism, like everyone had to bring their A game. Yeah. And so, I mean, I just remember there wasn't not a thing that you didn't have at the ready. And so even while you were learning,
never had an off day. He's the best I've ever worked with.
It was incredible.
Never had a day where he was lacking energy. He was always on it.
Wow. Well, also, I think this is going to be a little serious, but we should connect it to what's happening right now in the film business with this thing that happened on Rust. And I think my son looked at me one day and said, was there ever a show that did more gunfire than you did in the 204 episodes you did? I said, yeah, maybe a couple, but we've got to be in the top 5. And gun safety was number 1 from the second anyone walked on that set. Yeah. And anyone can tell you that all the protocols were taken care of. And we did, Rodney can attest to this, we did some crazy ass, and Brad, the stuff we used to do with machine guns. And it was always,
we went through 10,000 rounds one day, John.
Yeah,
10,000 rounds.
That's got to be some kind of record. But my son also, when my son started, we started with the prop guys. And I remember we were just talking, and he said, you know what? As a young guy, he was like 18 years old. He was like, I wanted to play with the guns all the time. And he said, those motherfuckers would never once let me touch a gun. He goes, and even they let me load ammo on days where we were doing lots of stuff. And the ammo that I loaded, they checked that one more time. And I said, well, that's why, the record actually for film and television has been extraordinarily safe over these years. But you have to follow the protocols. And if you don't, it's unfortunate. So Sterling and the boys kept us safe.
Yeah, thank you for that. No,
thank you.
And to stray, had the protocols been followed, it probably wouldn't have happened. That's the gist of it. Even though we've fired thousands and thousands of rounds, it's an unfortunate event that I feel horrible for the whole situation and how it's gonna change. It's changing on my show now. I mean, we've gone from blanks now to all airsofts, blowbacks across the board, and I'm okay with that. I mean, if it can save one more, fine, so be it. So.
Tragic story for sure. Thanks for the story there, Sterling. See, the panel is called CTU. I don't think there was anybody that spent more time in CTU than Chloe. I think your character has developed and changed maybe even more than Jack's over the time that you were on there. What's your fondest memory of a scene or interaction that you had with somebody in CTU?
Oh, there's so many, and kind of, it's so great to hear everybody else talk, because I've had similar things of feeling thrown into the fire, to those moments with Louis where it's emotional, to growing up on the show, something that Sterling was saying. I definitely felt like I became a better actor, but also learned how to be on an extremely popular show, and have all the perks of that. Was something else that happened outside of our show, was just the response to the show and all the events, and doing my first red carpet. And, by the time my ex-husband was on there, it was like, I was so proud that I was able to have a character on this show that developed the way it did. And I could not have imagined, being on it so long and what it became. I would say when we went to London, and I love Chloe, Dark Chloe. I feel like,
yes.
I feel like there was a moment where they tried to make me evil. Like that was going to be the twist, and it just couldn't work. I mean,
no.
You can't believe that, Chloe. And then, conversely, early on, it was going from she's really annoying, and this is what, to speak to what Debbie was saying about, and other people were saying about how they would write to stuff that was happening, stuff that they would see. And they started writing to how I was delivering it. And I think that helped make the surprise of Chloe. You know, once I was loyal to Jack, it was like, she's really annoying. What's her deal? And then like, oh, wait a minute, like now we like her. And it was just like, you couldn't have predicted that it would take those turns like that. And, you know, my favorite moments are the ones that the fans say to me when I'm shooting the gun and when Edgar dies, and there's all these touchstone moments. I mean, everything about it, from my first scene with Kiefer to my last scene with Kiefer to being with everybody. It's fantastic.
Ryan, I know we're right up against it here. If there's anybody else that wants to chime in, with,
we've got a couple
more.
We've got a couple more minutes. I've built it in because I knew this was going to be
beautiful. Good. Well, let's just go around the room. Yeah, open season for everybody here. Your favorite stories
I do have a
or
question
memories from the show.
I do have a quick question, if that's okay.
Go for it.
Okay, 24 for many of the fans is regarded as one of the last quotable shows. I think of either Fire Me or Get Out of My Chair, or That's Jack Bauer, or the one I heard the other day that I loved and I forgot about was when Chase asks Chloe if Kim has found out that he's a dad, and her response is, I'm pretty sure she's pissed. I'm pretty sure she's pissed, was the line, which I thought was great. Are there any lines that you either spoke or heard other characters speak that really stood out for you?
Greg Hitson. Let's hear from Greg Hitson.
My wife and I used to go, we have no choice. He has no choice. Somehow or another, in every show, somebody had no choice. He has to do it. He has no choice.
How many damn it's can you say?
Damn it.
What?
How many damn it's were you allowed in an episode? Like there's so many, there's like a rules, right? Damn it, Chloe, or son of a bitch, or what? Isn't there a number that they had to keep it down?
No, once Kiefer found out it was a drinking game, he then started doing it on purpose. He would go, damn it, damn it, damn it. Then he'd look at me and go, someone's going to get drunk on that one.
Oh, that's great. Well, I know that we're moving along here. We've got a bunch of other great guests and everything like that. Again, thank you all so much for what 24 was and what it became, and getting an opportunity to share those stories here today.
I'm sticking around.
Great seeing y'all.
Thank you.
Good to see you, everybody.
See everybody.
Bye.
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 Bye, guys.
Bye,
See you in
everybody.
20 years.
See you in 20 years.
Bye.
No.